Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do something a little different. Instead of a typical explainer, we're going to put your knowledge to the test with a real school weather quiz. Think you're up for the challenge?
Okay, take a good look. This is the actual quiz we're tackling today. Just 4 questions, but they cover everything from space technology to storm safety. So, do you think you can ace it? Let's dive right in and find out. Here we go with question 1. All right, for our first question, we're heading way up. I'm talking past the clouds all the way into orbit. This is all about the amazing technology that helps us get those weather forecasts we rely on every single day. Okay, a nice, easy one to get us started. We've all seen those incredible maps on the news, right? Those huge, swirling patterns of clouds over the ocean. But what's actually up there taking those pictures? Go ahead and lock in your answer. And if you said weather satellites, you are absolutely correct. You nailed it. Now, it might seem kind of obvious, but it's really interesting when you think about why the other options from the quiz, things like airplanes or weather balloons, just can't do this job. So, the key word here is orbit. Weather satellites are constantly circling our planet. That gives them this continuous, massive, big picture view that an airplane or a hot air balloon just could never get. They are truly our persistent eyes in the sky, keeping track of storms and weather systems 24/7.
Okay, so we're coming back down from space and into Earth's atmosphere. A lot of weather is basically a story of conflict, a big battle between giant masses of air. And that's exactly what this next question is about.
So try to picture it. You've got this cold air mass, and it's pulling back. At the same time, a warm air mass is moving in to fill that space. What's the official meteorological name for that kind of interaction?
That's right. It is a warm front. I know, the name kind of gives it away, doesn't it? But the way it actually works, the physics behind it, is pretty fascinating. It's not as simple as the warm air just shoving the cold air around. And this visual shows it perfectly. See, because warm air is less dense, it's lighter. It can't just bulldoze that heavy cold air out of the way. What it does instead is it rises up and gently slides over the top of it, kind of like a ramp. And this slow, gradual process is what usually gives us that wide, steady cloud cover and often that light, drizzly, all-day kind of rain.
Okay, question 3. We're shifting gears now from the theory of weather to the practice of it. This one isn't just about what you know, it's about what you do when severe weather is heading your way. And honestly, this is critical stuff.
Listen, a typhoon warning is serious business. We're talking about destructive winds, torrential rain, and maybe even flooding. In that kind of situation, what is the single most important, most appropriate thing you can do to stay safe?
And the right answer brings us to the #1 rule of storm safety. Information is your best friend. Seriously, knowing where the storm is and how strong it is gives you the power to protect yourself. But you know what? The other answers on this quiz are just as important, because they show us exactly what not to do.
These other choices are just textbook examples of what to avoid. Going mountain climbing? You're risking landslides, getting completely stranded? Heading to the coast to watch the waves? No way. Storm surge is incredibly powerful and can sweep you away in a heartbeat. Even something as simple as moving your potted plants onto an open balcony is a bad idea. You're just creating dangerous projectiles for those high winds. The lesson is simple: stay informed and stay inside.
Okay, we're on to our final question. For this one, we're going to zoom in on a specific part of the world and talk about how these massive storms usually behave, the path they tend to take.
So let's get specific. For an island like Taiwan, which is right in the middle of a major storm alley, there is a very common path that these typhoons follow. Do you have any idea which direction they typically come from?
And the answer is, they travel from east to west. But why is that? It's definitely not random. It's all dictated by these huge planetary-scale forces at work.
So here's the deal. Typhoons, which are just what hurricanes are called in that part of the world, they form over the super warm tropical waters of the Pacific Ocean, way out east of places like Taiwan and the Philippines. As soon as they form, they get caught up in these massive prevailing wind patterns called the trade winds. And these winds consistently blow from east to west, basically carrying the storms along an atmospheric highway, straight towards East Asia.
And that's a wrap on our little quiz. 4 questions, 4 totally different aspects of meteorology, from technology in space to staying safe on the ground. So, let's tally up the scores. So how did you do? Did you get a perfect score? 4 for 4? Maybe 2 out of 4? Hey, even if you only got one right, you probably learned something new, and that's the whole point.
Let's do a quick recap of the big ideas.
So let's lock in these takeaways. First, up high in orbit, satellites give us that critical eye in the sky. Down here on Earth, we now know that a warm front is that gentle ramp of warm air sliding over cold air. When the weather gets nasty, being informed is your absolute best tool for safety. And finally, those massive global winds act like conveyor belts steering storms across the ocean.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you check the weather and see a satellite map, or you hear them mention a warm front approaching, or you track a typhoon, you'll know a little bit more about the incredible science that's happening behind the scenes. You won't just see the forecast, you'll see the story behind it. Thanks for watching.